Okay, everybody, this is Ian, and welcome back to our short series of tutorials on the Podia platform. In this video, I'm going to show you really quickly how to create a Podia product with super speed. So a bunch of people have asked about, the appropriate way of setting a new product when they're just launching something or creating something or list building or sort of in the ideation phase. So I'm going to show you that specifically, but this approach will really work for anything. So whether or not you're selling a live product that's available to buy today, or whether you're setting something up for a pre-launch, or to test an idea, or to build a list, etc., etc. So as you can see here, when you go to the create a product prompt, you have four choices: online course, digital download, webinar, or a bundle, right? And you have to name the course. Now, I've actually never used this here. I've never actually done a webinar, but I've certainly done a shit ton of these, right? Online courses, digital downloads, and bundles. I think we have something like maybe 70 courses altogether for sale on Podia between myself and one of my partners. So I'm going to actually call this one Unstuck Yourself. All right, I'm making this sort of up on the fly. We have an existing course called something like this, but this is a brand new thing. So I'm just going to hit create product, and here it is. All right, so now you're in the back end of the product, kind of creation phase. And because we want this to be a pre-launch thing, I'm not actually going to be. It's actually going to be a workshop. So we're going to be delivering the workshop, a PDF through Podia, and then the actual content. 50% of the content will be a PDF on Podia and some audio content from me, a podcast on finding one's purpose and all that sort of stuff. And then the other half of the course will be delivered via a cohort on Circle. So we have content and then cohort or cohort-based courses where folks are interacting with each other, interacting with us, etc., etc. This makes it really easy to create courses with super speed because you're actually only responsible for delivering the first 50% really of the content, and the other 50% is actually user generated content, which is the content that folks or the community piece where people are interacting with each other and sharing their own goals and challenges, etc., interacting with each other, interacting with you or your teachers. So that's a separate kind of aside from what I'm recording here, but it's a really good way of streamlining and improving the value of the courses that you're selling, whether that's on Podia or anywhere else. All right, so let's really quickly add a section, and I'm going to call this Start Here. And here's generally where I would, tell people what the files are going to be immediately below. But something like this, I would actually have a link as well to the Circle community, our private Circle community. So I would link to the cohort, this space within our private community, so folks could immediately have access to the community in addition to the PDF and audio content they're going to have here. So I would just say, all right, and you would just link this like this, and link this wherever you wanted. In this case, let's just say partners.mindfulmarketplace.com. We're going to link, save. All right, and then I would add, let's say to the section, I'd add a file. And this is where you simply just drop a file here. So this is actually one of the files that we're going to be using as the cover image for this particular course. You can see it here, I think. All right, hopefully you can see that on your screen. Not sure if I'm capturing that separate area as well on my screen, but I should be. All right here. And this will actually be one of the images that we're using to sell the course on the landing page itself. All right, and you would then, you could add links, text, quizzes, files, etc. all right here. Let's set a price. And I'm going to make this something like, I think $25. As you can see, it auto saves, right? So your work is being saved. You can break out the payments. Obviously, something this inexpensive, you wouldn't necessarily want to have an $8 a month payment for. All right, no upsells yet. And let's preview this. You can view it as both a customer, like someone who's actually logged in, or as a visitor. So let's see. And here you have it, right? So unstuck yourself, a crash course in passion, purpose, and finding your thing. I'm obviously going to rewrite that. That image that I showed you before, right, that I uploaded to the course content would be here if I wanted it to be, or you could be down here. You can build out your landing page in a lot of cool and creative ways with Podia. And then as you can see, there's really only one file that's included, right? And that's that image, the cover image. And here's the section, right, where I announced to folks that this was, where they would access the private space with the content that's actually in the cohort itself. And here is the image that I uploaded as well. All right, so this is all on the landing page that we're now previewing. And let's say I can do three things here. I can keep it with a draft, or I can keep it set to be draft status, which means it's only visible to me. I could set it to be a pre-launch, which allows me to collect emails or test an idea before you actually launch something. I've done this a zillion times. It's a really good way of testing an idea to ensure that it's worth actually pursuing. So you would create a free course and then set it as pre-launch, and then you're building names, and then you could email or send updates to folks who have signed up for the pre-launch, letting them know how to actually get access to the course when it actually goes live, or when the course is going live. Or you can even say, and I've done this, there's just not enough interest in this course for me to actually create it, right? I mean, I've done that a number of times where I've created a pre-launch course, and not enough people have joined for me to really spend the time to actually create the content that would serve them best, and that would take me a fair amount of time to create. So the final option is published, and this is where you're actually just publishing the product, obviously, or the course in this case. So let's view this now as a customer. And now this is actually a live course, right? You can buy it for $25. And there you have it. You can sign up for it and everything else. And it's pretty much done, right? Now, of course, it's not done insofar as the course itself isn't done, but the process of creating something with super speed and putting it out there in the world is really, really easy with Podia. You can now style all of this stuff here. You can style the course. You can change the color scheme. You can, build out the various sections and modules of the landing page. It's really, really that was three reallys, which shows you how really I like Podia. But it's just a really great platform, and I really recommend it to those of you who are in the inspirational entrepreneurial spaces, like you're teaching, coaching, helping people, serving people, and you have a lot of stuff to share with your quintessential client or ideal audience, or anyone that you sort of want to bond and connect with as a as a thought leader in your niche. So I'm going to probably do a second video where I actually build this landing page out a little bit so you can see some of the ways that you can style all this and make it look a lot better. But pretty much, other than for the image that's missing here, this could be a landing page that went out to my list that I said But we're going live with this in a couple days, so you can pre-order it now. For 25, it's going to be 50, let's say, in 3 days. And people, and these convert fairly well. I mean, it's simple. It's not very, refined or aesthetically amplified in any way. Just very simple offer. And if people know you and trust you, and you have a relationship and a good rapport with your community, this is sufficient to make sales with that, with truly super speed. All right, so I hope this has been helpful for those of you who have asked about Podia in the pantheon of the tools and software and services and products and platforms that we recommend. Podia is really at the top of the list. We actually use another LMS that I like a little bit more than Podia for the enterprise level sort of course delivery community, for more like online educational, platforms where you have really like more like emulating a university or a school, whereas Podia is more ideal for folks who are smaller entrepreneurs or selling products, selling courses, selling coaching, building memberships, building an affiliate program, etc., etc. And it's far less money than the other LMS that we use, which is much more expensive, albeit a tad more powerful. So you really can't go wrong with Podia if you are, you know, teaching your first thing in 2021 or beyond. All right, teach what you know, do what you love, wake up the world with your work. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions about Podia or anything else, as always, feel free to ask. Thanks.